Hello and welcome to this edition of the Sports Den. My name is Domenic Papa. Congratulations goes out to the Essex Ravens football team. They are off to the OVFL championship game against Ottawa Myers this weekend. Good luck to Glenn Mills and the gang there. Also, since the last edition of the Sports Den, we have two champions in our area in the baseball loops. Of course, the Tecumseh Thunder senior baseball team off to the Canadians. Jamie Kell and the gang taking care of business here at home. And Al Bernacki and the Windsor Junior Selects also going back to the Canadians. Actually, they left today. As of today, they were out east in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, I believe it is. So good luck to Al and the gang there. And I want to give a shout out to the Windsor Stars soccer team. They snap a 4-game losing skid. They win convincingly against Kingston, 8-1. Christian DeGroy, 4 goals in that game, an outstanding performance. Nice to see the Stars back in the win column. On this edition of the show, no question about it, the most talked about sports topic right now in probably the entire world is the Tony Stewart racing incident, of course, in which he had killed a fellow driver and then raced the next day in his NASCAR event. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk some golf today. Rory Mcilroy, that's the name that's on everyone's tongue when it comes to golf. He again wins the PGA Championship, back-to-back majors. We'll get the panel's thoughts as to where does he stand compared to maybe that other guy, Tiger Woods. And of course, here in our area, the Windsor and Essex County area, the Ontario Summer Games just completed. We'll get the panel's thoughts on that. We do have a great panel assembled here today. If you do want to get in touch with them or me during the show, you can contact us on our Twitter at SportsDen Live. I'll try to get a couple of the comments out throughout the show. But on the panel today to help us out, he is the main owner of the Windsor Stars semi-pro soccer team. He's also a player for them. He's having a great campaign with the team. Mr. Gino Berardi. Welcome to the show, Gino.
Thank you, Don.
Good to have you here finally.
Yeah,
nice to get a win this past weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
Much needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially at home. We haven't lost at home yet, which is nice. Yeah. We go on the road again to play Kingston, so we hope to get another convincing win again, and then back at home on August 23rd.
And it seems like you got the main guys back in the fold as well, Gino, which I think was important for this team. Getting Dragoy back, that happened a little while ago, but you got Adam Malu and Kodovic back as well.
Right, yeah, it was probably the first game that we have all our main guns, in one game and against the last place team. But it was nice to get the 3 points finally, start moving up the standings.
And the game, we're in the second half of the schedule now.
We're in the second half of the schedule. We probably have another 8 season games left and then another 2 more cup games.
Yeah. So hopefully a lot of wins to come up.
Yeah, all wins got to be. Yeah.
Right. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in, Gino.
Thank you.
Also on the panel today, I told you about the Tecumseh Thunder winning the Ontario Championship. They're off to the Canadians in a week from today, actually. They leave on the 19th of this month. Their all-star second baseman, certainly a great player to have in your lineup. He played very well during the Ontario Championships. He was a former Major League draft pick of the Seattle Mariners. Mr. Kevin Mayu joins us. Number 24.
That's right. First time wearing that this year. So.
How good did it feel to win that Ontario?
Relieving, just especially for the veteran core we have. I think 2001 was the last year Tecumseh won that event. So very, very relieving, just for the town even itself too. So we're excited.
You say relieving, and I agree with you, Kevin, because if you look at the talent on this team, I think everybody was looking and saying, if they don't win, this is a huge, huge failure.
And we knew that going in, and having that pressure sometimes will, decapitate a team. But we embraced it. We got a good family, good core young guys came up from Dave Cooper's team, and obviously you know about the program there that he's running. And like I said, it just we came together as a family this year, and that's what won us, that London tournament, the eliminations, and even the Can-Am League. So it was good. It was a fun year for sure.
Aside from the talent that's already on the team, what does make this team special, Kevin? I mean, I've seen a lot of baseball teams come out of this area. And you look at, some teams go with that pitching, and pitching's so key when you get into these tournaments. But I look at your team, it's not only the pitching. I mean, you guys have the arms, but boy, the bats are not too far off either.
Yeah, it's a privilege to have a lineup. I always say it's baseball, it's a lot of individuals, but at the end of the day, it's how everyone complements each other throughout that 1 to 9 in the batting order, and guys buying in, not, single hitters trying not to hit home runs, and guys getting on base, that's their job. It's very simplified with our lineup, and same with our pitchers. And we're in a very good groove right now. And with all said and done, we're going into the Canadians ready, and it is going to be a long trip to get there. But like I said, I think we're prepared to win it and bring it home for us.
A lot of you guys are professionals, so
Yeah, that helps too, right?
that'll help for sure. St. John, Newfoundlands, I believe it is?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we
Good luck with that, Kevin.
play them on Friday night too, so hopefully.
Oh, wow. Take care of the home team right
take
away.
care of
Get them
them,
out of the
yeah.
way. That's it. So good stuff. Good luck with that, okay?
Thank you.
Also joining us on the panel does tremendous work for our community. He's involved with many of the big community events. He was a helping hand in the Ontario Summer Games that just recently finished. He's also bringing the Carha hockey tournament here in a couple of springs from now. Just, again, invaluable person for our entire sports community. He does a great job out with the Riverside Minor Baseball Association, Mr. Bill Kell, whose son Jamie coaches that Ontario Championship team. You were helping out with that tournament as well. So.
Well, I was out there watching, helping, rooting on the boys, trying to give them a little help here and here. So.
You get your hands involved in a lot of things. I mean, this is all important to you, isn't it? To have our community out there front and center.
Oh, I think so. I think it's all about our, Windsor and Essex County to come forward. And I know that the sports is very important to the area. Sports tourism, of course, is a major generator for the area. So that's what we try to promote. We're trying to get it all going. So.
Riverside Minor Baseball, their year is coming to an end, but you got a big day coming up this weekend.
Well, for the house league kids, and this is really important. These are the kids that give their heart and soul out there. And
Kevin was a house league player at one time. You have to realize that, right?
So they're having their day of champions. We try to make it as real and exciting as possible for them. With the announcements and the. Their names being announced and all that type of thing. And this year, a very special for WeTV is going to come out, and you're going to broadcast the championship games for the 4 divisions that have playoffs.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day. If you don't want to watch it on WeTV, get out to the Riverside Baseball Center. It's going to start Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and it runs throughout the entire day. It's a great day of fun, and just be nice to have a really nice crowd out there. So, good luck with that, Bill.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to get into some sports talk here. Of course, again, if you want to get involved with the discussion, you can contact us here on our Twitter feed. And again, if I do have time, I'll read out some of the comments or some of the questions you may have for our panel. We're going to start first with Tony Stewart. If you haven't seen the video, well, you've been living under a rock because it's been on every newscast, every sportscast. It's just out there front and center. It's a newsmaker. It's also a sports newsmaker. A very unfortunate incident. And I think when you see the video, we'll play some of the video here for you. We're not going to show the actual incident in its entirety, but you'll get the gist of it. The problem, I think, and I'll let the panel comment on this, here's where the race is ongoing, the accident takes place, then the driver decides to get out of his car, which, I don't know, in the middle of a live race, I don't know if I'd want to do that until there was at least a caution flag out. So maybe he does have to be held accountable a little bit here. But I think the more concerning thing to me, we talked a little bit before going on air here, and here you see the driver. He's going after Tony Stewart here at this point. And he's pointing him out, and that one car, and right there's Tony Stewart's car, and again, you know what happened after that. Very unfortunate. But comment by Tony Stewart initially was, tomorrow's business as usual. He had a NASCAR race, business as usual. Boy, that just, I think, opened up a can of worms. I don't know where to go with that one, really. Again, very unfortunate incident, but not a good day for auto racing, Gino.
No, I wouldn't assume so. And for him to say that, he's got to be a pretty composed person to not necessarily
heartless. Composed or stupid?
Maybe a little bit of both. But he's composed, he's focused, and he still wants to race. When you're a competitor and something crazy like that happens, you want to be sensitive, but it's a sport at the same time. But when you look at that incident, like we saw on the TV. He went after him, and I'm sure there's probably something prior to that they had a little engagement. And, like you mentioned earlier, we were talking, I think, a proper investigation for repercussions, I think.
Well, there is an ongoing investigation with it. I don't know if anything's going to come of that. Should have NASCAR or someone should have stepped in here and said, listen, Tony, until we look into all of this, you can't race again?
Immediately. Effective immediately, I think. That shouldn't have been no hesitation on that. Condolences go out to his family first and foremost, but at the same time, when you have a death, I think at any event, there should be some time, 2-3 days, whatever it is, to lay the rest and let that go. I just like to relate, Paul George and that high ankle sprain he suffered not too long ago, they completely shut that game down. And you have an incident like this, and for things to continue and not have that time of grief, I wouldn't agree with it. I think NASCAR missed out on that one.
I can't imagine that it would happen very often, somebody getting hit by a car, especially another racer. I don't know how they've dealt with it in the past, if it has happened at all, but it looked like from that video that he purposely, I mean, if you're a professional driver, you could probably evade somebody who's on the course.
I agree. I mean, he knocked him off the road, so he knew where that car was off the road. So that bugs me too.
Disagree, guys, because you take a look at that video. This is a real tragedy. This 20-year-old Martin, I think his last junior, really a real tragedy. But I don't think there was any intent. I looked at the video quite. If you look at the conditions, they're on a dirt track. They're at night. It's bad lighting. And if you look at the outfit that he's wearing, it's dark with maybe a couple white stripes. So it's got to be very hard. I think yes.
I don't know if you can fault.
Should shut it down. I think for him. Now I don't think he's supposed to be running in Michigan on Sunday, but I think he's going to miss that because there's a lot of trauma.
Well, I think there's been some retraction as well since. I mean, the PR management now is in place because again, Tony Stewart. Maybe Gino's right. Maybe it's that competitive fire that's in him. He's still thinking about the race, and he's got tomorrow's race, and he's like, it's business as usual for me. Bang. Wow.
So when you commit your life to something, right, and all your time and energy. Something like that, it might draw you down a little bit, but you don't want to stop.
I think everyone in the sport of auto racing, whether it's on that dirt track or the Grand Prix over in Detroit or NASCAR, there's always that risk factor of a death possibly occurring.
And I think it's right there. But NASCAR, I think, has two things. They have to look at some of their safety features. They got to look at some of look at that incident there and come into some protocol or some procedures that they have to put in place. Well,
first and foremost, and again, this might take a little bit off of Tony Stewart. The driver gets out of his car, and the race is still going until you're 100% sure that yellow flag is out there, the cautionary flag to slow down. There's been an accident. To me, you just don't leave your car, and I don't want to, say
like he said, with the conditions, and he has to be held accountable too. Like you said, he left his car, and I'm sure under the scope of things he shouldn't have. But at the same time, you got to take into the conditions as a factor. They're on a dirt track. Those cars are motoring, and they're sliding for a reason. And, like I said, condolences go out to that family for sure. It's in NASCAR, it's a tragic event. But I just, like I said, I don't know what happened with obviously Tony felt his car hit him. And for me, if you knock somebody off the road, I think first, okay, there's going to be a flag, so maybe I should slow down. But then again, I'm not going to slow down if I don't see a flag out that says cautions are out and there's an accident, but I just don't have the full spec of detail yet, and that's why they are doing an investigation, which should be done.
Okay, if you're the commissioner, if you're the guy that's in charge of racing right now, what's your first step here? Where do you go with this? Do you do the investigation, and where do you think it will end up?
Well, a situation like that, I think you should follow through with a deep investigation, just to put everyone's mind at ease and the sport's mind at ease, and just to do what's rightfully right. Someone died in your sport, and it was a tragedy how it happened. I'm sure if he was still alive and he didn't die, he'd regret his decision going out to the track and trying to track him down. But you owe some people.
Would there be a suspension though to Tony Stewart?
Depending on, I don't know the rules of disciplinary action in racing, but definitely I would say depending on their investigation, what they find out.
Yeah, I think they'd have to have a look at it and take a look at the investigation. I think they've done some preliminary investigation. They've ruled out some of the areas, if they're going to charge them with any felony or anything like that. But if you look at it, they run on so many different tracks. I mean, if you look at and different types of cars that they're operating in, like in this one, it was a sprint car. Dirt track.
Dirt track, yeah.
So
maybe it goes back to what you were saying earlier, Bill, about some of the venues have to be looked at, safety features, stuff
Safety
like that.
features, yeah. What the drivers are wearing, especially when they're doing night driving. I mean, this is something that I think they have to look into. They have to do an investigation in themselves and see where they stand and why this happened.
My point, internal investigation, right?
Yeah.
Leave it internal. That way, the media, the cloud of it kind of veers away like most things. And
How do you
settle
handle
that.
the Tony Stewart comment?
I think it was unprofessional, to say the very least.
Difficult to say. It was
It's pretty cold.
pretty harsh comment, but I can't imagine what else to say in that situation, other than apologize.
We're all competitors, but at some point, I mean, when you end a man's life such as that scenario,
He still has to sleep at night, right? I'm sure it's affecting him just like
that's why
anyone
I never
else.
understood that
Chris,
comment.
Chris has written in, he thinks that both drivers have to be accountable. He does think that there should be an internal investigation, like you guys said. He also mentions the fact that Tony Stewart should just let his PR team take care of his business from this point on. So that's a comment from Chris. Okay, enough on the Tony Stewart accident. I'm sure it's going to get talked about quite a bit. The video is going to get run, thousands of times. And again, yes, our prayers go out to the family of the driver that was indeed hit. We're going to, I'm going to take a quick time out here. We're going to take a break here, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk some golf about Rory Mcilroy, and we're also going to talk about the recent Ontario Summer Games here in the Windsor and Essex County area. We'll have that for you right here on the Sports Den.
Adding new products or services to your brochure? Updating those drab business cards? Or looking to create a striking window display? In need of some screen-printed signs for that construction site or promotional campaign? Posters, vehicle wraps, and a whole lot more. At Angel Star Digital, our expert design and production team are ready to meet all your promotional needs. For samples of our work, check out our website at www.angelstardigital.com, or you can call us at 519-969-0712. That's 519-969-0712.
Bye.
Great. My car's blocked in.
I got this. I think the parking brake is on. Geez, what's in this thing? Rocks?
Welcome back to the Sports Den. Domenic Papa, glad you stuck around, and we're talking. We're going to talk a little bit about golf. I'll reintroduce our panel for you. From the Windsor Stars semi-pro soccer team, co-owner and player Gino Berardi is with us. Also with us is star second baseman of the Tecumseh Thunder baseball team, Kevin Mayu. And also with us from the Riverside Minor Baseball Association and a number of other organizations. I can even throw the Westbys in with you, Ken. Mr. Bill Kell helping us out. And Bill Kell, we just took his license away from him because we worry about Bill's driving once in a while. But we left it at the break that we wanted to talk some golf. Rory Mcilroy, I mean, talk about being on the tip of everyone's tongue when it comes to talking about sports. This guy is just lighting it up, back-to-back majors. He wins the PGA this past weekend. And the question that's going out there already, and I'll throw it out to the panel here, is Mcilroy, who's 25 now, is he as good as Tiger was at 25, or could he even be better? What do you think, Mr. Kell?
Well, let me take a look at it.
I know he couldn't
Let me
play in your league, but...
No, Rory is. I think he's the top of the class right now. Now compare him to Tiger. I think there is a comparison.
Back then,
to be
though, I
made.
mean,
Yeah, back then. There is a comparison. to be
Tiger's
made.
falling apart right now.
Yeah, well, injuries play, as athletes, injuries can play a very important part. But on his play, just his play, I think when Tiger was on 25, he was intimidating. He intimidated almost all the other golfers that were with him. Rory, but Rory's paid his dues. He's had some disappointments that come up, but now I think that he's being able to concentrate on golf, that he is comparable to Tiger at the day. I mean, when they do some comparisons as to number of majors that they've won at their age.
Well, that'll tell in time, I guess.
Yeah,
But
but
he's on his way, I think.
he's on his way. I mean, there's just he just seems to be hitting his drives in the fairways and putting the ball on the green and putting everything in play. I mean, and he's hitting the ball 300. He's averaging, I think someone said 340 yards or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, his numbers are ridiculous right now. They're in another world. Actually.
Unbelievable.
So
Golf is an extremely tough sport. You know, I mean,
that's why you play soccer, right?
That's why I play soccer, right? Nothing's in my hands. But I used to be horrible at golf. Then I got a little bit better. I started enjoying myself a little bit more at golf. But if you're extremely good at golf, such as he is, then, you know, I tip my hat off to you, because that's a extremely difficult talent, I believe. And especially nowadays, I can't imagine how much more difficult courses are. I mean, in your comparison with Tiger Woods and the competition that he's facing, I just when I saw him win, I was like, wow, that's spectacular.
I think the most important thing to remember too about comparing the two is Tiger's body of work extended for a near decade.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about Rory after 1 year. Now, I'm not saying Rory wasn't that good, before he went on these runs. He was there, but he did miss some cuts here and there, and he did lose his game. I found with Tiger from that 21, 22 till 32, he was pure dominant, like you said. The field feared him. I don't think Rory has that yet. He is 25. He is getting into his prime with golf between 25, 33, like most major sports, but at the same time, it's tough to compare the two. They're two different type of golfers. Back then, Tiger was that predominantly, powerlifting, and brought that into the game, hitting the ball a long way, and kind of paved the way for guys like Rory, and seeing golf from a different, standpoint. So comparing the two, I think it's very difficult at this time, just over the body of work. But the way he's playing right now, if he can stay that consistent Rory Mcilroy, which we have yet to see. He could rifle off, a good stretch of a half decade, maybe more of solid golf. But as we've seen, it's tough since Tiger has gone down for someone to grab golf by the throne. So it should be interesting to see, but I wouldn't compare the two at this moment to how good they are.
Tom comments that Rory should take a lesson from Tiger and keep his putter put away. Whatever that means. Okay, just open up that can of worms. Thanks a lot. Well, maybe there is a lesson to be learned there, though. I mean, you look at, since all of that with Tiger, I mean, there has been a little bit of, he did come back briefly. Now injuries seem to be plaguing his career, but it's tough to, I mean, when you're that young and you're getting that much attention.
And you're still playing against Tiger.
And you're still playing against Tiger as well. Well, you look at the foursome that was playing together in the PGA. Boy, that was amazing. Focus is key. And I mean, Rory McIlroy called off a marriage. Just felt that it wasn't the right time. And I'm not saying that has anything to do with his results now, but he just felt that he needed to step back somewhere in his life, maybe to focus more on golf. And fair to say it's paying off?
Absolutely. I believe so. Yeah. Marriage is a huge commitment, and golfing or any other sport that you commit to is going to be a huge commitment. And if one thing isn't going well, the other one's going to suffer. So if your athletics is suffering, it's going to suffer your relationships, and vice versa. I truly believe.
I see it a lot too. I mean, not just athletes, businessmen from all different statures. They like to, predominantly get their career going first before they start exceeding in relationships. And some athletes may have that ego in a sense where, hey, I want my career to be at its level before I settle down. If that maybe something he was thinking, he wasn't, ready for that commitment because his career wasn't where he wanted it to be at the time. But ultimately, like I said, maybe there was a cloud in his head, and that got out of, made him focus on golf more.
But you got to look at some of the other golfers that were very successful, like the Jack Nicklaus, the Arnold Palmers, the Gary Players. They all had these types of relationships. But it's
Different
still,
era though, then, Bill.
I understand different eras.
Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, the social media whole thing, everything. I mean, let's face it, golf is just analyzed to no end now. Whereas I'm not saying when Jack was playing, it wasn't followed. He was a great player. But I don't know if there was as much pressure. I mean, there wasn't the sponsorships that are involved today, things like that, the money that's there today.
When you're talking about focus, and especially in golf, if you're lacking focus in golf, you're definitely going to suffer. And he can learn from Tiger Woods, especially, So when he went through his divorce, and we see what happens, right?
But we have a lot more. There's a lot more younger golfers that are extremely good golfers. You know, like the Ricky Fowlers and the.
Yeah, I mean, the future in golf is
Yeah.
extremely
Played
bright.
against a 10-year-old, and he kicked my butt.
It would happen to me too.
We see that in all sports now. Where you see hockey and baseball, for instance, we had players playing to 40, 41, 42. It's tough now for any sport, an athlete to compete at that level, that high, with as much exposure there is on all sports now. 30, 33, you're at your prime in tennis, soccer, baseball, and then after that we start seeing guys, kind of go down. So I just think, ultimately it's tough to compare eras and guys. The competition levels always changed throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
In the sport of golf, where would you say? Like, I don't think Rory Mcilroy's peaked yet. Like, I don't think he's the strongest or the best that he's going to be at. He's 25. I still think maybe even 3-4 years away.
Learning curve, yeah.
You look at the sport of hockey, they say, 27, 28, you're in your prime. I don't know what it is for baseball.
About 28 to 33.
Is that what they say?
28 to 33.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a longer period there, too.
Right.
Soccer, I would imagine, maybe a little bit younger, Gino?
Probably 26 to 30.
Yeah.
Around that age.
Yeah.
The guys will experience is a huge factor in soccer.
So I think Bill was kind of getting into it. It's a learning curve. How you juggle your family life, your marriage, your social life, and your sport life. You got to kind of separate them and make things happen that way. And once you learn how to do that, maybe you get married. Maybe Rory will go get married. Who knows? But certainly he's on a great roll, and he's a great story. One last topic. I've only got 3 or 4 minutes left here. The Ontario Summer Games recently completed here in the Windsor, Essex County area. Again, a great event to have for our area. Certainly, anytime you can showcase the city of Windsor and the area, Essex County, you do it. But I was a little disappointed with some of the crowds. And I don't know if people really realized what these summer games were. And I say that only because you had very different sports involved with this. You had archery as a sport. I don't know if many people know about archery, things like that. And I don't know, again, I commend the effort, but I don't know if we were quite ready for it. Bill, I know you were a part of it. Gino, you also had a team playing in it as well. Yeah. So you guys had inside
what you got to realize is that there wasn't a lot of planning time. There was a year, but there was a lot done, and there was some sports that you wouldn't have heard, like you said, archery, and then there was some skeet shooting. There was all types of different games. There wasn't swimming, there wasn't track and field like you normally see.
Sports that we're familiar with.
Yeah, so I think it was a great thing to bring this, to experience those other things, and I wish maybe more people had gone out. But again, the organized team, the GOC team, came together and they. I know there was some complaints that there wasn't schedules, but if you looked in the right spots, you could have found it. But again, it was a thing that was combined and done within 1 year, and to get all that done in 1 year, to be able to get 2,800 athletes together here in Windsor. Even the International Children's Games took 2 to 3 years to organize them. And it's good that we had that experience so we could, pull these games together at the last
I think
moment.
the most important aspect of the Ontario Summer Games, whether people knew what it was for or not, was the experience from each athlete and coach, and their parents as well, because everyone's parents had to come down, because it was very young age groups that actually played. It wasn't adults.
14 and 15-year-olds, basically.
Right. So, I was a coach for our boys soccer team, and the experience they had, all the boys, all the players, all the sports teams had to stay in the hotels, and the experience they had with eating dinner with everybody, the opening ceremonies, this was a fantastic experience.
Like a high-end athlete. So
and
kind of a neat experience.
Yeah, especially the opening ceremonies was fantastic. The preparation that we have, and I think Windsor did a good job just in terms of what we have available to us. I think they did a great job. Whether in terms of marketing and the attendance record, I don't think that was probably the most important thing, because it is free to go see a game. So there's no one has to pay to see any of these. But I think it was a fantastic experience.
You get last say on it, Kevin.
Yeah, like he said, it's about the kids. I ended up playing in one myself. I got to play in the Canada Games too, and it's a professional experience at a young age, and that's what I took away from it. You learn from it. It's something that develops you to play and become a better competitor, if you will, and what to expect at the next level. So, yeah, you're always going to have the picky things, but at the end of the day, it is for the kids.
All right. Gentlemen, Gino, good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Kevin, good luck
Thank you.
with
Appreciate
the
it, Dom.
Canadians. Bill, we'll see you on Saturday. Good luck with
Great.
the games
Thank
there.
you.
That's this edition of the Sports Den. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune again next Tuesday again. We'll be on live here coming from the WE TV studio. Until then, this is Domenic Papa wishing you a great week. Take care, everybody.